All right, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the Keep Culture and People podcast. Stepped over that word this morning. So, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Melinda Pogue, and at work, I am an L&D senior specialist at Northwestern Mutual. My main focus is enterprise orientation and onboarding. When I'm not working, I am hanging out with my husband and our pack of pets. And I'm passionately curious about people and how they interact with each other and the systems they exist in.
Oh, I know. I always say I'm a student of the system. I love to watch the ant farm.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
What do you think the best thing is about working in this people and culture space?
Knowing that the work that I do every day, it really does directly affect an employee's experience on their job. From day one, I get to be helping shape their day one experience, which really colors their entire job with Northwestern Mutual.
Yeah, because your team focuses, one of the things is that orientation process, that
Yes.
onboarding process.
Yep.
Such an important way to start off on the right foot, right?
And we really see it as your first learning experience at NM. Like, you're not just filling out paperwork, you're going to learn stuff about the company, about the culture of the company, and really where you fit in.
Yeah, agreed. So I'm curious, I'm hearing from other top HR people leaders that engaging employees is a challenge. What are your thoughts?
I think this has been a struggle for companies for a while now, I think for most companies. And I think that it really got pushed to the forefront when the job market was so tight recently. Having to compete for talent has really forced companies to evaluate what they're offering employees other than salary and benefits. Um, you know, what kind of experience are we offering our employees? What makes them stand out? And it goes way beyond having a game room or free snacks. That was the fun, quick thing. But people are like, everybody has that now. So, by and large, employees want to be able to bring their true selves to work, and you can help them do that, with something as simple as a dress code change. And I saw that happen at NM, which, we're a very old company. We were very, conservative for a very long time. A couple of years ago, we actually shifted our official dress code from business casual to something that they call dress for your day. And it was to reflect the new population that we had. And it doesn't mean wear whatever you want, but they acknowledged that we had some younger people. We have a lot of people from tech who are used to being able to wear jeans and t-shirts to work, from their startups or wherever. And, letting them not have to worry about putting on a costume to come to work, really allows them, it lets employees feel more comfortable, which can then let them feel more engaged with their work and with the company, because they're not coming in feeling like I have this facade on, So, I mean, it's a simple thing like that. It cost us no money, but it made people feel more comfortable in their workplace.
I think it's impactful how you called it a costume, right? And
Yeah.
then the connotation that has is that somebody is now dressing as if they are someone else, which removes them out of that place of authenticity.
Exactly.
That's super powerful.
Exactly. And I mean, so it's funny because when you come to our campus, obviously not right now, but especially in the summertime, you'll see people walking around in suits and you'll see people walking around in shorts and flip-flops, and it's just because they have different ways of interacting with their team and the outside and the customers. So
Yeah. If you're not meeting with a customer, dress comfortably, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Melinda, what advice would you share with other organizations working to advance in the people space or advance their culture?
I would say, I mean, the biggest thing is take the time to listen to your employees and then act on it. So in the past couple of years, NM has done a lot of really in-depth surveys around our org health, around employee engagement, around our total rewards. And, and a lot of companies do the same thing. Companies wouldn't, there's plenty of consulting companies that are doing surveys on a regular basis for companies. What really matters, though, is what you do with the results. Because, it's one thing to make your employees feel heard, but it's another thing to actually act on what they're asking for. So, we've taken those results, and over the past couple of years, we've used them to help design leadership training. We've used them to change our benefit offerings. We even used it as an opportunity to develop strong employee value proposition and people vision. And, but the thing is, it's not change once and never again. It really is something that you have to keep revisiting because your employee population is going to change, your employee needs are going to change. A little thing like we found out through our total rewards survey that a large chunk of our employee population is part of the sandwich generation.
Mm-hmm.
And so that led to them developing caregiver leave and assistance for that so that people, it goes beyond like, oh, here's some extra PTO. But if you have an older parent that you're having to help take care of, something like extra specific PTO that's just for caregiving, they address that for the vast majority of our population, that's something that came out.
That's
So
really powerful.
yeah, so it's like, it's not just asking them, it's really taking that and figuring out what's a good way to use this in a way to keep employees engaged and also keep advancing your corporate strategy.
Yeah, thank you for doing that because I've worked in organizations in my 20 years in corporate and now out of my own with organizations. And I often say, if you're not willing to act, not always in big ways, but especially small ways, don't even ask. Right? Don't even do the
Yeah,
survey because all you're doing is
exactly.
frustrating your employees. And then they stop telling the truth.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how anonymous it is or anything. They'll just be like, why am I even going to fill out this survey? So, but what's nice is we have seen repeatedly very high response rates to our surveys. So I think that that may be an indicator that they feel like they're being heard.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think the high response rates and the level of true, honest feedback that you're getting, right? Because there's always going to be some good and bad. I always think it's a little fishy when we see too many good, right? Then people aren't really feeling like they can tell us how we could do even better.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good for you guys. So, Melinda, what other top HR or people leaders like yourself would you want to acknowledge as a leader or maybe even a guest on the podcast?
I'm going to have to say one of my coworkers, Keisha Keeney, she's done some amazing work in the D&I space. She recently joined our D&I team in HR, but she is also doing some really great work with our employee resource groups. She's not the head of the D&I team, but I think she's really just a great person to talk to about stuff that's going on right now and how companies are responding to it, because she really is kind of in the middle of the thick of it.
Oh, what an important topic right now for all of us to be considering.
Exactly.
We had this huge event of COVID happen, but then you layer on, however you want to label that, the Black Lives Matter movement, then the next civil rights movement, whatever that is. It's an important time for us to listen, right? And I always say, like, I'm learning and unlearning every day.
Every day.
Yeah. Good. Thank you for the suggestion. We'll reach out to, is it Keisha?
Yeah.
Keisha.
Yep.
Okay.
Keisha
Great.
Keeney.
Wonderful. All right. So last question here, Melinda. We're doing great on time. So tell me about what you enjoy most in terms of working with HR and people apps. What does that do for your personal alignment?
I think seeing people, what's really great, and I was, it's weird that this whole pandemic has really shown me how important the HR function can be for a company, because, we did some amazing work in the first few months, coming together, designing training, designing resources to help our employees, to help our leaders, making sure that the employee experience that we were working so hard to build was still out there and that everybody still felt supported. And I think that that's really like one of the coolest parts about being in HR is that you're so tied into the strategy. And people come to us to say, hey, how can you help us change this thing in our function? Being in the orientation onboarding space, I get people reaching out all the time saying, hey, can we add this? Hey, can you help me design this? How can we provide a better department onboarding? So it's just, I just kind of feel like HR is kind of the center of so much stuff.
Yeah, it really can be.
And if we hadn't had a well-prepared, tied together HR team, we would not have been able to pivot the way we did in March.
Yeah,
I mean, literally within 48 hours, we had everybody working from home, up and running, from our tech team, our HR team, our leadership, and really at the core of that, it was our HR team.
I agree. I agree. And Melinda, I think, yeah, HR is such a critical function. Thank you for joining us today. We're at time, so we'll talk to you soon.
Great.